Hey folks, Eric is the whatever guy because it really is whatever with me. And do you folks want to know how long it's going to take for medical marijuana to get on the shelf in Alabama, even after all these lawsuits are done? You guys stick around, man. We'll talk about that. As you guys know, man, my name's Eric. I am the whatever guy. I just shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp, cannabis, just what's going on around. I'm sitting here bullshitting around on an early Tuesday morning, guys. Really busy week for me this week, man. I've got, as you guys know, I came back from Atlanta Sunday. Just had to sit down at the house yesterday and do a bunch of work. But today, man, I'm moving over to Cantonment. As you guys know or may not know, I'm opening up a location at 416 North Highway 29 in Cantonment, Florida. We're going to have some good THCA products over there and a bunch of good Delta 8 stuff. So you guys stop in and check us out. And obviously, we have a wholesale THCA flower list that we can pass out to folks. And obviously, we're going to try to distribute, THC flower to local shops. And if you guys are in the area, stop in and see me, man, and or reach out on the channel here and holler at me and we'll talk about it a little bit. All right, folks, so moving forward, man, talking about this debacle that is the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission and its licensing process going forward. As you guys may or may not know, there's quite a few lawsuits, man. We are tied up in litigation. Like all the lower tier licenses, the cultivator processors and the labs and all those guys have been issued, but we do not have dispensaries. There's actually a temporary stay order on dispensaries right now, and there's also a temporary stay on integrated facility license. And for those of you who don't know, the integrated facility licenses are the licenses that include all the smaller tier licenses in one. It's where all the big money is. It's like you're the grower, you're the processor, you're the cultivator, you're the manufacturer, you're the lab, you're the transporter, you're the dispensary. That's what an integrated license is. Those are tied up in courts, and that's where all the money's at. And it seems like we are a long ways off from even seeing any sort of resolution on getting issued licenses in the cannabis space. Like it stands right now, like I said, those lower tier licenses are ready to go. They are building out and getting their processors ready to go, but they don't have any place to sell their flower. Like they don't have any place to sell it. And let me just say this too, another reason why it's going to take so long for them to get medical marijuana up on the shelf after we get a crop in, it basically boils down to Alabama has no smokable flower. So anything that we move forward with is going to have to be processed. They're going to have to do some sort of chemical process or some sort of scientific process to get the to get the distillate out or to pull the compounds or the compounds or the cannabinoids out of the marijuana plant that they want to use in the products that Alabama is allowing. So we're basically adding another step in the process along the way, and that processing and then moving on to manufacturing takes a little while. So we're going to flip over here to an article over here. I believe this is over at Marijuana Moment, and we'll take a look and see what it says right quick. It says Alabama medical marijuana access could take months even after the licensing lawsuits end. It says Antoine Mordecan has a medical cannabis cultivation license, and he is building out a facility to begin growing his product. Under state law, he has to demonstrate he can maintain cultivation facilities, use an inventory control system approved by the state, can start cannabis cultivation within 60 days, can dispose of the plant waste according to regulations, and can maintain financial stability. I'm getting everything in place, getting the necessary parameters and everything in place to be in compliance, such as security, said Mordecan, CEO of Black Native Cultivation. But when he will see actual marijuana plants grow depends on what approach he takes. If he grows from seed, which Mordecan plans to start out with, it will take about 6 to 8 months before he can get the first harvest. If growing from a clone or a cutting from a growing plant, it would be closer to 4 to 6 months. Mordecan said he might look at that approach, but added that he's not in a rush. Everybody's got their own techniques. My goal is to be within compliance of the revenue rules and regulations. The Alabama legislature approved a medical marijuana program in 2021. When the product is available, patients certified by participating physicians will be able to use medical cannabis for 15 conditions, including cancer, chronic pain. Excuse me, it flipped up on computer, flipped up on me here. I can't find what's going on. 15 conditions, including chronic pain, depressions, and Parkinson's disease. Patients will have to apply for a card to obtain medical cannabis from licensed practitioners. The law bans smoking cannabis or consuming it in food. Cannabis will be available in tablets, capsules, gelatins like gummies, oils, gels, creams, suppositories, transdermal patches, or inhalable oils or liquids. Cannabis gummies will only be allowed to be in peach flavored, but delivery of the product has yet to occur. The Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission began accepting applications in 2022. The AMCC initially issued license in June, but voided them due to scoring inconsistencies, later rescinding awards again in August amid a lawsuit over Open Meetings Act violations. The MCC issued new licensing rules in October. The commission issued licenses a third time in December, but litigation halted the licensing process again in January for dispensaries and integrated facilities, which is what we talked about before. The litigation over the charges has ground the process to a halt. Even if the lawsuits are resolved, it could be several months before legal cannabis appears in the state. Aaron Smith, co-founder and CEO of National Cannabis Industry Association, said that it's possible to get an indoor harvest in as little as 3 months, but he expects it may take longer for some cultivators, especially in the first round, because of the inexperience with factors that can impact growth, such as climate and soil conditions. The quickest I've heard through the years, but it's usually between 3 to 5 months. It's sort of a cycle, so I'm not surprised there's folks there that are ready to do it within 3. After harvesting, Mordecai said he can freeze or cure the plant depending on how the processor wants it, or he can just cut it down the whole plant if they want to extract THC, the psychoactive ingredient to be used in the final products, from other parts of the plant aside from the flower, such as leaves. Paul Armentano, Deputy Director of the National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws, said that because Alabama medical cannabis law bans smoking, the THC compound must be extracted by processors to be made into products that can be sold under the law. He said it won't be as simple as growing and harvesting the plant. First, you've got to grow the marijuana, then you've got to harvest the flower from the marijuana, then you've got to turn that flower into a product that the Alabama law allows to be dispersed, because it doesn't allow flower to be dispensed. Extraction times vary from a few minutes to several hours, depending on the method. Once the THC is extracted, it can then be made into medical cannabis products. Jason Cobb, owner and CEO of Organic Harvest Labs, a processing company that was awarded a license, said that the process they are using, from getting the plant from a cultivator to packaging the product, may take about a week. In the initial stages, it may take slightly longer due to employees learning how to use the system Alabama uses to monitor the market. Once they put that into our facility, it's not immediately going into the extraction. We're going to make sure that we're accounting for it, integrating into the system, so it's not just a simple process. He said he wants to provide the best medical cannabis products to patients, which is why he is using an extraction method that may take longer. Alabama medical products can't be coated in sugar, which is often done to hide the taste from the marijuana plant. His extraction method removes that taste. We just think that we've got the best methods for that extraction so that you're not going to taste that skunky or that terpene flavor. Melissa Mullins, a patient advocate, said when legislature passed the law setting up legal medical cannabis market in the state, she was cautiously optimistic that the state would have medical cannabis products by the end of 2022. We did know, however, that there would be a trial and error while working to implement the program. Did we like it? No, we didn't, because sick, suffering, and dying patients do not have the luxury of time. She said from the moment the licenses were awarded, she predicted there would be delays with a limited number of licenses. We knew this was going to happen. We have seen Alabama going down the same road as other states that we had researched and spoken with. Like, guys, this is crazy right here. Like, they're basically pointing out the fact that, there were 30 other states that have legalized medical marijuana in the United States. Like, we could have looked at them and like not relive their mistakes. Like, we didn't do that. Like, we just came into this and just decided we weren't going to take anybody else's word or anything. We weren't going to look at anybody else's shit. And basically now we're basically going down the same road that 30 other states have gone down, in this process. And I might add that in some of this, in most situations, the Alabama situation is quite a bit worse. Armentano agrees. He said that if lawmakers in Alabama had taken into consideration programs in other states and not focused on establishing a restrictive program, the process may not have been delayed. To me, what's the most vexing about this, Alabama had 30 plus states, in many cases, states that have had programs up and running for more than 3 decades to learn what to do and learn what not to do. And lawmakers clearly didn't heed any of those lessons. Senator Tim Melson, Florida, who sponsored the bill in 2021, did not return a request for comment. And it's been shown on this channel many times, and I think Tim Melson at some point is going to have to step back in and sponsor some sort of bill to like fix this legislation, because as it stands right now, I don't even think the legislature wants to look at this. Like, they don't even want to take a look at this. My understanding is that if they had an opportunity to look at it in the legislature, that they would just kill the cannabis program all the way around, because they don't have time to fool with it. And so now we fall forward into a position where these lawsuits are going to drag us out for a long period of time. And you got people like Antoine Mordecai that are actually getting their facility and everything up in place and ready to go, and they have no place to send their cannabis to. Like, they could send it to the processor, they could send it to the manufacturer, but when it got to the end of the line, where are they going to sell the product? And they would be sitting on the shelf. And most of these manufacturing products, most of these products come out on the other end, are going to have some sort of deadline, like a 2-year deadline. They're only good for 2 years or whatever the case is. All right, folks, whatever, guys, signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Love you. See ya.